The competition in this industry is so fierce, but we did manage to get a glimpse into the future.
Real gaming opinions.
The obvious question is, of course, how long will this smashing success last for video games?
The last line of events in major gaming news.
The GameZilla Podcast.
Look, there comes one of them now.
Welcome to GameZilla Podcast, your last line of defense in major gaming news. I'm your host, Grim, and with me remotely, the producers, Butterboy and Player One Miggy.
What up?
What's going on, you two?
I'm having a difficult time looking Butterboy directly in the beard today. Something disturbing has been revealed to my eyes, and I can't look directly in the beard anymore.
There has been some new artwork that's surfaced that is true, genuine artwork that's fully approved by the Butterboy Association.
Not true. False.
And will be
Wrong.
released to the public
Buttermerch.
after this episode.
Not true. Wrong.
Buttermerch.
Lies. Crooked Grim. Sharing fake news.
Now, can we get that? Who do we get that to get that in the form of a butter mold? Because I need that on the table at Thanksgiving. I need that.
I got a 3D printer. Let's do this.
Listen,
Ooh,
you don't
Start selling them on Etsy, baby.
you don't need Nana getting hot and bothered at that buttery figure, all right? You don't need it. No one needs that. The only thing that should be hot is the food on the table. And it should be slathered in butter.
Oh my goodness. Well, welcome to episode 337 of the GameZilla Podcast, your elite free DLC for all your gaming news. And before we get into it, we want to make sure we thank our patrons. So, Hype Calorie co-host Butterboy, take it away.
Listen here, we're making all of your holiday wishes like a Thanksgiving butter dishes at patreon.com/GameZilla Media. And we want you to go and start your patronage today. You can start at just low as $1 per month. Going to get you some cool perks that you're not going to have anywhere else on the internet. But the real sweet spot is that $5 a month. That gets you exclusive access to exclusive podcasts recorded by every show in the GameZilla Media Network. Every show records one bonus show a month, only available to our patrons as a thank you for supporting us and helping us live and grow. That means you get a bonus show from The Legend of Retro, The Last Action Podcast, Noiseland Arcade, Noobs and Dragons, and of course you get Must or Bust from your boys here on the GameZilla Podcast. It can all be yours for $5 per month, and that money goes directly into supporting the GameZilla Podcast and the shows on the GameZilla Media Network, because you can, there's nothing to stop you, support inferior, unentertaining, terrible podcasts, or you can spend your money where it's contributing to happiness, joy, and entertainment here with GameZilla Media. Don't support inferior podcasts, support your boys at GameZilla. Yeah.
Very nice, very nice.
Thank you. Just try new hard sells.
Anyways, thank you to our patrons again. Also, before we get into the news this week, we want to remind everybody that we are live every Monday night on twitch.tv/GameZilla Media, but you can also check us out on YouTube, and you can listen to the podcast on all your major outlets for podcasts: iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, Spotify, Google, wherever it is, we're there. So search GameZilla Media, hit that sub button, hit that heart emoji, give us 5 stars, and help us keep growing this community. All right. Without wasting any more time, Player One Miggy, it's time for the news.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no, he's been on such a roll.
I know, I blinked.
He's been on such a roll.
I blinked, but it's okay because the news won't let you down. Take it away.
Unfortunately, this week it will, because Butterboy and I are about to crack open these treats right here, these liquid treats.
Couple cold ones.
I gifted Mr. Butterboy over here, Sir Butterboy, a Fudgy Kruger oatmeal stout. Okay, we're not sponsored by these people or anything, but Butterboy is a huge Freddy Krueger fan, so when I found these, I had to have him try, because he was gifted this with his new Xbox. So it took an extra week here to celebrate. But here's to the new Xbox. Here's to Butterboy. Here's to everybody that helped make this happen. Cheers to all of you. Butterboy, I hope you enjoy this.
I think I'm gonna. Just real quick, it is a chocolate oatmeal stout, and it is delicious. Made by Big Lake Brewing in Holland, Michigan. So pretty good.
All right. So topic number 1, we are going to get into the 120 frames per second conversations that's been starting to pop up here on the internet. And that is, no one till really today has come out and said it. It is easier for a developer to make a 120 frames per second game on an Xbox Series X than it is the PS5. This is coming out after Psyonix finally stepped up and basically gave us this information as to why Rocket League is already 120 frames per second on the Xbox, but has yet to see the same on the PS5. So let's get into a little bit of what they said, and then we'll have our discussion here. But so one of the big selling points on next-gen consoles is, for the Xbox and the PS5, 120 frames per second on TVs and monitors that include 120 hertz modes. While we've already seen a number of new Xbox and PS5 games running at 120 frames per second, some existing games are only being updated for the Xbox Series X. Both Call of Duty Warzone and Rocket League, for example, only include support for 120 frames per second on the Xbox Series X. Activision has not commented on why Warzone is only on the Xbox Series X at 120 frames. But Rocket League developer Psyonix has revealed to Eurogamer that it's more complicated to enable on the PS5 side. This is their quote. Enabling 120 hertz on the Xbox Series X/S is a minor patch, but enabling it on the PS5 requires a full native port due to how backwards compatibility is implemented on the console. And unfortunately, it wasn't possible due to our focus elsewhere, explained Psyonix in a statement, like I said, to Eurogamer. The PS5 is capable of running existing PS4 games at 120 frames per second, but there's clearly more work involved for developers to enable it. In the short term, this could mean that we will see more instances of games running on the PS5 without 120 frames per second support, but appearing on the Series X with the higher frame rate. This is interesting because we started to make some statements a while ago, and we're already seeing that we were right. And what I'm saying by that is that it's only been easier for developers to implement this on a Series X because Microsoft built 120 hertz support on the Xbox One years ago. We talked about the mouse keyboard support, the 120 hertz support, the FreeSync support, all these things that they were doing kind of with the Xbox One. And like, even if it didn't have full support where only certain games would work and others wouldn't, it was the fact that they were messing around with it. They were figuring out, they were using the Xbox One as a pilot. And so now we're seeing it coming out in the Series X right out the gate, where PlayStation's having a little bit more of a struggle. This doesn't mean it's not impossible. We're not, anything like that. A lot of your first party PS4 games that will support 120 are supporting 120 because they had access to work on this longer than some of the third party companies did. But the Xbox One X and the Xbox One S were also updated to support variable refresh rates, which is also something that we know now. Sony has confirmed they're bringing it to the PS5 in a future patch, but it's not there currently. And 1440p video output, which again is here at launch on the Series X and not on the PS5. So that is this is interesting because it creates separation for certain types of gamers. Where I when we were first looking at this stuff, everything was very similar. We're starting to see a little bit of separation in certain ways. I don't mean one's better than the other. It just comes down to the type of gamer and what they game and how they game that could lean them one way or the other now. So 120 frames per second support won't be an issue in long term as more developers will be building native PS5 games, but as developers continue to release cross-generation games for the Xbox One and the PS4, then they are likely to be a mix of what is supported. There are signs that this could improve, though. Bungie is planning to update Destiny 2 on December 8th with 120 frames per second support for both the Series X and PS5. But that also is only right now what they're calling for Crucible mode. So that's the other question: is Destiny only that we won't be seeing it anywhere else, or is it going to be coming out on stages? That's a typical Bungie move that I don't even want to touch right now because that's a whole nother topic. What do you guys think of this news, though? Right out the gate here, I own both systems. Butterboy has an Xbox Series X. You've enjoyed the frame rate. Where do you stand? What do you think of this? Tell me your thoughts on this.
I think it's going to be important for the first year, 2 years, where we know that there is established cross-generational compatibility. Microsoft has come out and basically said they're going to do everything they can to not leave Xbox One players behind in this first couple of years of the generation. And I think we're going to see better optimization, more easily implemented across multi-platform releases for the Xbox Series X than we will games that are available on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series. If developers, specifically Psyonix, already saying it's easier to do for us, we're going to continue to see that. As I love playing, knowing that I'm playing it the best I can play it outside of playing on a PC. It feels good, and I think it's going to continue to feel good for the next 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, that is the big thing right now, is that this is a good look for Xbox with their concept that they are going to not have an exclusive for the Series X, and that they want this whole ecosystem to be just one big party. That you truly don't have to worry about a mixed bag of support if it is as simple as a patch. Like that's and this comes down to, we're talking Microsoft here. We're talking the people that run, that operate Windows and that create patches and try to figure out how to add features to OSs, operating systems and stuff in ways that is as least of an impact as possible, and it doesn't always work out. But I feel like for Xbox it's easier, like we're not talking Windows. But yeah, I mean, this is a it's a surprising thing. I've been playing Rocket League. It's funny that this was Psyonix and they were the first ones to come out about it. I was been playing a lot of Rocket League on my Xbox Series X, and so just during the charity event that we did a couple weekends ago, I was on my PS5 already, so I was like, I'll just play Rocket League on my PS5, and noticed that it wasn't running as well, and I didn't realize it didn't have the same patch that the Series X did, and I thought, oh well, it's just a matter of time. So for this to come out and Psyonix being the ones talking about it with their game, I was a little bummed, because Rocket League is that game that I really enjoy playing, and I don't care where I play it normally, but I do care about like what's going to give me the best, the best time, like playing the game. So PC and Xbox Series X being that, PS5 now taking the back seat when it comes to Rocket League. Not that it doesn't run, it's not that the game runs bad at 60 frames. It's still nice, but there is a difference, and I can feel it. And so for me, I'm gonna pick that. And that's what's interesting in moving forward, is games like that continue to fall down that path. It does create a separation where when these systems are readily available in the near future, how does it impact decision making for some people? So we'll see. Because I think one thing that I'm starting to realize about this generation is that 4K gaming is here and you can enjoy it. 4K gaming with the full frames per second stuff is HDMI 2.1 is really what you need to do that. And good luck. There's like a handful of TVs out, and hopefully, the first monitors in the next couple months will be coming out as well. So, I mean, when you look at it that way, the frame rate of being able to drop down and play at say 1440p or 1080, but maintain 120 frames per second is a sell point for me now, and could be a sell point for other people that are in the competitive shooter range, that type of stuff that before doesn't really make them. So yeah, I don't know. Time will tell, but it is an interesting situation right now that, in my eyes, gives Xbox a little bit of a little bit of an advantage.
Yeah, because to reiterate, if you're playing on PlayStation 5, I believe you are playing the PlayStation 4 version
Correct.
of Rocket League, where it's Rocket League isn't considered a fully optimized game for Series X, but you are playing what they consider a next gen version.
Yeah, exactly. So, and again, it's gonna come down to individual gamers. I see Johnny Riot saying bigger thing for him is 4K 60 that trumps 1440 120 for him, and that's what I'm saying. Some people aren't gonna care. Some people want fidelity over frame rate, but for me, it's all frame rate.
And I'm a
Frame
little
rate,
more in Johnny's camp.
yeah,
Like
frame rate.
I love sitting down in front of my TV, and the games I have played in 4K 60, like it just looks pretty. And for me, that's fun because I'm not nearly as competitive because I'm not as skilled and not on online games as much. So the frame rate a little bit less important to me. I really like looking at pretty right now.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And so, I mean, we'll see how it all plays out, but we have talked about this generation being very heavily starting to fall towards that monitor world. I really think the monitor game this generation is going to explode. And so, obviously 3-4 years down the road, when everything that's being made is just this gen and we don't have to worry about it, there is that advantage will be gone and everything will be on the up and up. But for out the gate, this is an interesting situation that Sony finds themselves in. That it feels a little bit just like we weren't paying attention to how people were using things. Because I mean, their product has been used to stream games. Their product's used in tournaments. Their product is used from competitive level down to just a standard enjoyment level. And it just feels like some simple things that they missed that they could have had. And I think the only reason Xbox had them again is because they've been testing them and tweaking and trying these things out in the last gen just to see what people thought. I mean, some of it never even made it past the beta. As far as like Xbox Insider OS testers, like some features would show up in that. I was one of them, so my OS was always ahead of what the standard OS was. I'd see functionality that then would never make it to the final version. They were messing around on multiple levels trying to figure out things that could work, and then knowing that taking that to the next gen of systems, they're going to be able to do even more with it. So, but we'll see. Miggy, you have anything on this as far as you're looking to? I know you were siding with Xbox a little bit as far as what you want to grab when you get the chance, but with this information, any thoughts?
Nah. So it doesn't affect me. I'm still gonna go Xbox first. I mean, the up conversion and the prettiness and all that stuff. I mean, it will be nice, but I mean, we all don't have like the technology or the TV and stuff to support it. So I mean, even if I did have it, it still wouldn't be that big of a deal to me. I'm still looking at Xbox as my first choice, and then PlayStation a little later. So I'm gonna eventually get them both, and I'm gonna eventually be able to experience them. So it doesn't affect me at all.
All right. Well, let us know in the Discord, guys, if you have some input on this. If you're someone that went out and bought a new TV, have HDMI 2.1, and want to express your feelings across the two systems, hop in the GameZilla Podcast channel and let's keep the conversation going there. We're going to move on to topic number 2, and that is simply PS5 is sold out. Period. That is a statement from Sony.
You ain't never lied.
The company is working to increase the supply, but if you are trying to buy a PlayStation 5, according to the boss, Jim Ryan, speaking with some outlets here, absolutely everything is sold out is the comment that was made by Jim Ryan. Well, has been a trickle of PS5 stock returning to retail channel this week. It's gone in minutes, and the executive has revealed that after spending much of the year ensuring the demand for the machine, now he's focusing on getting enough devices into the market to meet demand. The quote goes on to say, "Everything is sold. Absolutely everything is sold. I've spent much of the last year trying to be sure that we can generate enough demand for this product. And now, in terms of my executive bandwidth, I'm spending a lot more time on trying to increase supply to meet that demand." So, I mean, this is pretty straightforward. We're pretty used to when a new system hits the shelves from Sony or Microsoft or Nintendo, that the initial wave is you have to get one pre-ordered. You have to be on top, be ready, otherwise you're not going to get one. I mean, it's pretty much what we're used to over the last couple generations, maybe excluding the Wii U. But anyways, we we this topic brought interest to me for one reason. That's the whole article. It goes on to say that it's just going to be difficult to find the system in the foreseeable future, supply chain issues. They're not blaming COVID, but it's just a huge demand. And I mean, COVID does play a factor that there's more people at home right now, even if they're working from home, they don't have a job or whatever. They feel more stuck. There's not as much to do, so a brand new video game system could be a great outlet is a great outlet in my opinion for everybody, so every gamer. So that led me to this next article that connects to this and really started to just we've talked about this before. We're gonna talk about it again. PS5 Scalper Group has more online stock than most major retailers. A new report revealed that a PS5 Scalper Group based in the UK managed to acquire just under 3,500 PlayStation 5 consoles with the intent of reselling them all for profit during the device launch period. This is highlighting, obviously, the huge issue that current gen consoles are having with resellers. The PS5 is a hot commodity and remains incredibly difficult to acquire, with most online listings selling in minutes, if not faster, and the PlayStation 5 restocks few and far in between. Upcoming Black Friday sales appear to be the last chance for many consumers to purchase a PS5 online or in-store before the holidays. While the launch period has been rocky for both PS5 and Xbox Series X across the globe, PS5 sales in the UK were on another level of chaotic. Consumers naturally had a difficult time managing to get a PS pre-order, but when the time to deliver them, even more issues arose. Video game retailer games sent out an email blaming essentially every company but itself for PS5 pre-orders not going out or being delivered on time, and several people reported getting the completely wrong product, with confused fans unpacking air fryers instead of the future of gaming.
I mean, air fryers are cool, though. I mean, your PlayStation 5 ain't going to get you crispy chicken nuggets, but guess what? Your air fryer will. Look on the bright side.
So once again, we are in this boat after talking about the NVIDIA graphics card launch, the AMD chipset launch, the AMD GPU launch, the Xbox, the PS5. It's like technology side and gamers side of things right now has just not been friendly to its consumers because retailers have no idea how to stop this. They do not have a way currently. It is proven, and it's been proven time and time again, that they have zero chance of stopping a bot from just annihilating stock and making sure that consumers can't even acquire what they want. So the problem is that this is just one story. Okay, this is just a story in the UK. You can multiply this story in every region. that these systems have come out in, guaranteed. Because if I can take a $500 system and turn it into $1,000 payday, and then I can multiply that by 10, 20, 30, 50, 3,500 systems, there's going to be people out there that are going to do it because it's easy money. And doesn't matter if it's good money, doesn't matter if it hurts people in the long run, they don't care. And so, companies, retailers need to figure something out, and then also these outlets that are letting these people funnel this stuff need to stop. Like eBay, for example, looks just as bad as the people doing the reselling because they're allowing it to happen, and they've blocked things in the past that they wouldn't allow to sell because of this, and yet we see this happen time and time again on eBay. It's like, you as far as this goes, you shouldn't sit there and allow some dude to go on eBay and actually make a post that says, I have 50 of these. It's different if someone actually going to sit there and make individual listings for each one of these. But there are people that literally have a stack of boxes as their photo with the number, with hey, I got 50 of them, $1,000 a pop, and just letting it go off. And it's like, Sony's back here saying, well, the demand is there and we're really happy, everything's sold. And it's like, right, but not. You guys have to start realizing that not everything's selling to the people you want. It's not getting into the hands of the people you want it to get into. And as much as like these companies are right now too successful to fail, and Sony's done a great job, and Xbox has done a great job, and Nintendo's kicking butt, but at the same time, it's damaging to your brand when someone sits there and time again tries to get a product and can't, and finally just says F it. Like, I'm a prime example that I really wanted a 3000 series Nvidia card, and I just gave up. I'm running a 2000 series card and I haven't even tried again, and I don't know when I will or if I will. It'll probably be one day when I randomly just check an online store for parts or whatever, and it happens to be in stock, then I might buy it. And that's not going to be for a while because they're still having problems with inventory. And so for me, I just what has to be done, man? Stop making it so easy. The demand for these products are so high that you can easily set it up where you have to fill out this form. You have to then wait for this email. You have to verify the email. You could have had me jump through 10 steps to make sure that I locked in my Xbox and my PS5, and I would have done it in a heartbeat without a single complaint, knowing the fact that A, I got what I wanted, and B, you're doing it so that hopefully a real human being can actually buy this.
Yeah, they got to do it like when Ford made those Ford GTs. You had to apply to Ford with a full resume and write a letter on why you deserve this supercar, and then you had to sign an agreement that you wouldn't sell it for 2 years, because it was a super premium car that they were only making 480 of or whatever they did. You could do a similar thing selling 1 million PlayStations the week they come out. You have the company, you have the resources, have people apply, and more power to them if they want to allocate a certain amount for people that have established PlayStation accounts, i.e. the actual players, and maybe allocate some, applications for parents that don't have their kids playing information, or new players, but I would say set aside some for your loyal fan base and try and get it together that way. Work with your retailers, find a way to make it happen. It is ridiculous that these scumbags are slinging these things for $1,500 or $2,000 or whatever. It's always bothered me. When we worked at Worst Purchase, I worked the PlayStation 3 launch, and I personally knew a guy that was there to buy one just to flip it. And I was like, man, I'm not going to lie, that's kind of poor that you're just going to try to make an easy $1,000 off this thing or whatever you're going to do. I don't know, man. I think that should just go to someone who wanted it for a more reasonable price. But that's just me trying to tell you how you should live your life, I guess. But I don't know. I've always found scalping for a ridiculous fee very scummy, and I'm not even super comfortable with people doing it for a little bit over. Like, just let people have the system. You don't need to profit off other people's fun.
And see,
No,
the thing
like-
is,
oh, go ahead.
I would say the thing is, yeah, we could put the blame on the scalpers, but the scalpers wouldn't be scalping if people weren't buying them. And the thing is, if people would quit buying them, people would just be patient and just wait. Instead of spending $1,000, instead of spending that $600 or $700, they just wait because they know they're going to be in they know they're going to be restocked. But the thing is, people are impatient and they want to be the first. They want to be at the ground floor to get it and be the first ones to have it. And unfortunately, they're going to be the ones that they're the ones to kind of I hate to say kind of blame for the predicament that they're in, that we're in, shall I say.
Well, I mean, blame, sure. But we live in a society that we want instant gratification. We need it right now. You can't afford a $1,300 cell phone. Don't worry, you could pay a monthly payment for the next 2 years. Like, everything is designed to brainwash us into the fact of, like, I want it now, I can have it now. Like, that's the way that they try to push it on you. So though it is still the people buying these things, and on a smaller scale, we've talked about, like, how do I want to phrase this? Leading with our money, right? And say, oh, well, we don't like how you're developing this game, EA, we're not going to buy it, right? And creating change within the community, within the industry by speaking with our money. And yes, you're right, if no one bought these, that would be the case. But it would be interesting to see how quickly some of these scalpers who bought so many and have such an overhead at that point would panic and start to drop the price. But at the same time, like, that's the world we live in. So, like, I don't really blame anybody for wanting a system. And if they have the extra funds and they don't care about spending $1,000 on a $500 product, that's a world I don't live in, right? But it is a world that other people they decide to do so. And so, but it still has to come down to the company that cares about their reputation, the retailer that cares about their reputation, and just time and time again creating disappointment. And so, like, the extra PS5 that I ended up with, it wasn't planned. It was supposed to be for my wife. She decided she didn't want it right now. So we had an extra PS5. We gave it to somebody that we knew got screwed over in the pre-order game that was trying to get it for their son for the holidays. And we sold it to them at retail, down to the penny. And I could have turned around and sold that for $1,000. For me, I don't like, that's not how I make a living. And that's the problem, is that we actually have, like, it's one thing, I still don't like it, but it's one thing if someone bought two, sold one, and it washed out the cost of their other. And that's how they, like, figured out that they could play PS5 in this generation out the gate, because they don't have the money to really just drop $500 on a system. Like, whatever, you're being a little sleazy, but you're also just trying to, like, manipulate the game so that you can enjoy your hobby. It's another thing for a guy to get 50 of them and just sell them, and he doesn't even play video games. They don't even play, they're not even a gamer. Like,
that's people taking advantage of us,
and
that's
that
people
person
taking advantage of kids,
Yeah, and that person calls that their business and calls that their livelihood, and that's jacked up. So for me, I don't know. I look at this, and yes, obviously the consumer base influences reaction to what these scalpers are going to do. They're going to look at it and say, this thing's hot, we know people want it, we're going to buy it. I get that. Yeah, absolutely. But Johnny Riot posted in the Twitch chat right now that Sony did it best by requiring a PSN account to be able to get in the online queue to buy one. So now if you're a bot, you have to generate PSN accounts. Like, add that multi-factor layer at least to make it more difficult. I'm not saying you're going to 100%, make it perfect, but you got to do better than this. I mean, for just this UK story alone, for someone to be able to acquire 3,500 PS5s and then brag about it clearly because we have this information, brag about that they used bots. Like they literally claim they use bots. You know, like that is just not acceptable in this day and age. And I don't know, I think about just like what Butterboy and I do for our day jobs and the amount of layering that we required at work just to log into our email, just to chat via Microsoft Teams. You know, the things that we have to do to authenticate and get in and do that stuff. Like, why is that not being required by these retailers in order to make your purchase? You know, like make it a little bit difficult for these people to actually try and attempt this. And then that way, just maybe more of these systems will actually go into the fan's hand. And then you know what happens? They buy a $500 system. You get accessory sales, you get game sales, you get service sales because they didn't just go spend 3 times the retail amount. In some cases, and then they can't afford a video game because they just bought a $2,000 PS5. So I don't know. It's such a frustrating situation, and I know too many people right now. I mean, player one Mickey being one of them that wanted one of these systems and couldn't get it. And that, like, I can look in every direction. I don't have to look very far. Find time and time again these people that didn't get it because they couldn't sit at their computer for 5 hours on the launch day with multiple windows open, just clicking refresh, 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 and praying that. I mean, hell, when I got my Xbox, it was glitched, man. Like it literally told me I didn't get it, and then I got an email confirmation, and I was like, well, we're gonna see where this goes. And thankfully it processed, but like I didn't know because it told me out the gate I wasn't getting it. So, and the PS5 wasn't any easier. And the graphics cards I didn't get. I lost out on that one completely. And so I mean, and that all happened in the span of like as far as pre-orders went, that was like 3 weeks. All of that. So I don't know. And now we're seeing, like they said, a little bit of the stock coming back to stores here and there, but the bots are already in place. So every time that happens, they're just bought right up. So it's super frustrating. And these articles coming out here are just damning of retailers and and then like as far as Xbox and Sony go, like they can't control that, right? Like they have no control over that. Once that product's there, it is what it is. But what I would like to see more out of the manufacturer is if they see a company fumble horribly like this, there needs to be like accountability. Be like, hey, we have major reports coming that you had no two-factor authentication, that you had nothing in place to protect your buyers from being able to get this product. We're not going to get we're going to allocate higher numbers to other companies now until you can prove that you can handle this. And I know it's not like no one wants to be the bad guy here, but like if you're Sony, like your systems are going to sell. You could have kept 100% of your inventory and sold it all from Sony, your own website, and they all would have sold. So like, how important is it that Best Buy has your product if Best Buy can't handle it? Like because that's how I look at it. If someone's not going to handle my product the way that I feel it should be handled, then there should be some sort of repercussion in place, a warning, a strike system, reduction of allocated systems, things like that need to happen. From the retail side, you guys just need to get your shit together and actually invest some money into proper multi-factor authentication and just features that are going to finally make online shopping less stressful. Because that's the thing, right? Online shopping happened and was born because I don't want to go to the store. I just want to be able to go online, order something, and have it show up. And now, like, there's products that are impossible to even do that with. You guys have anything else on this topic?
The only thing I could think of is with the looming Microsoft GameStop collaboration partnership, maybe we'll see GameStop being a more authoritative place and reliable place to purchase Microsoft systems, and we can hope that maybe something that will come away for PlayStation and Nintendo, and that could really help that company if they became an authoritative place for actual gamers to purchase hardware.
And Johnny Ryan saying retailers don't care. They get the sale. It's out the door. They did their job. I mean, to an extent, yeah, but retailers do care about attachment rates. And when you have a bot buying up 3,500 systems, there was no attachment to any of those. So your services, your accessories, your game sales, all that stuff is non-existent, and you're just losing. So that whole margin that everyone cares about when you're in retail is just being destroyed by bots.
They ain't making nothing on those systems.
Yeah, not by your employees not doing your job, not by true customers just saying I don't want any of your product. It's the fact that a robot came in, bought the one product that matters, and got out. And so, I mean, when you look at it that way, like, retail shops do care to some extent, but yeah, I mean, the bottom line is that they want to sell their product, but again, as a retail company, products